Hello, I'm Sophie.
Duchess Sophie of Edinburgh has always been known for her quiet strength and diplomacy, never the one to spark controversy. But in front of the world's eyes, she did something completely unexpected, an act that sent shockwaves through Queen Camilla. The royal traditions went as usual, yet in a single moment, Sophie's subtle move toward Catherine, Princess of Wales, ignited a storm of speculation. Was this a silent message, a quiet act of defiance, or a gesture far from intentional? Join us as we uncover the symbolic act by Duchess Sophie that got everyone talking and shocked Queen Camilla. Duchess Sophie's symbolic act that shocked Queen Camilla. The crisp air carried the weight of history as the royal family gathered at the cenotaph in Whitehall. Remembrance Sunday is an annual event steeped in solemnity, a moment when Britain's monarchy stood united to honor fallen soldiers. The ceremony followed a carefully crafted script, every movement rehearsed, every expression measured, ensuring that the royal family projected an image of unwavering dignity. This year was no different. At first, the ceremony proceeded as expected. The king laid a wreath in honor of Britain's war heroes. The last post sounded through the still morning air, and the royals observed the customary 2 minutes of silence. It was a display of continuity and tradition, the kind of event where the monarchy's presence was meant to be felt, not scrutinized. But then, in a single moment, the unshakable facade of royal protocol fractured, and all eyes turned to Duchess Sophie. Keep watching to find out what Duchess Sophie did. The nation watched as King Charles III and Queen Camilla stood at the forefront, embodying the continuity of the monarchy. To their right, Prince William and Princess Catherine upheld their roles as the future of the crown, their poised presence reinforcing the monarchy's stability. Just a step behind, in a position of quiet dignity, stood Duchess Sophie of Edinburgh, a woman known for her unwavering loyalty and grace, someone who had long played a supporting role in the royal hierarchy. Every royal event was carefully choreographed, but positioning at the cenotaph was particularly symbolic. The monarch and his queen naturally stood in the center, a visual reminder of their status. Prince William and Princess Catherine, the next in line, stood just beside them, ensuring the public saw the continuity of leadership. Duchess Sophie, wife of Prince Edward, occupied a more understated position, one that reflected her traditional role as a trusted but background figure within the monarchy. For years, Sophie had been regarded as a neutral force in the family, a woman who maintained cordial relations with everyone but never stepped out of line. Her ability to navigate royal life without controversy had earned her favor with both Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles. But on the Remembrance Sunday ceremony, she made a move that suddenly put her at the center of speculation. As the royal family prepared to depart, Duchess Sophie did something unexpected, something that instantly set tongues wagging. She placed a gentle hand on Princess Catherine's back. It was a brief, almost imperceptible gesture, yet, in the context of royal protocol, it was extraordinary. The British royal family was known for its restraint, particularly in public settings. Casual physical affection among senior royals was virtually unheard of. A touch as simple as this, though seemingly benign, broke an unspoken rule. What made the moment even more striking was Queen Camilla's reaction. Though subtle, those paying close attention noticed the shift. Her expression flickered. Her lips were pressed tightly together in what some described as a moment of visible surprise. It lasted only a fraction of a second, but even the smallest movements spoke volumes in royal circles. For the average observer, Sophie's gesture might have seemed insignificant, but for royal watchers and historians, it was far from ordinary. There were multiple reasons why this single touch carried such weight. It broke tradition, and here's why. The British royal family is famously reserved, adhering to an unspoken rule of formality, even among relatives. Unlike their European counterparts, who often embrace or kiss on the cheek in public, the Windsors maintain a strict sense of protocol. A physical display of affection between senior royals, especially one as uncharacteristic as this, was bound to raise eyebrows. Then, there was the historical context of Catherine and Camilla's rumored relationship. Over the years, speculation had swirled about an underlying tension between them. Though they outwardly maintained civility, whispers of a distant, perhaps even frosty dynamic persisted. The fact that Sophie chose to break protocol for Catherine and no one else felt deeply significant. But what truly deepened the intrigue was Camilla's reaction. Royals are trained to conceal their emotions, yet something flickered across the Queen's face in that fleeting moment. Was it a surprise, discomfort, or something else entirely? Given the long-standing perception that Catherine and Camilla were not particularly close, Sophie's public show of support for the Princess of Wales seemed deliberate, a quiet but unmistakable challenge to the royal hierarchy. It didn't take long for the footage to circulate. Within hours, clips of Sophie's unexpected gesture were making waves across social media, news networks, and royal watching forums. Theories quickly emerged. Some experts insisted it was simply a moment of genuine warmth, a natural, human response to an emotional occasion. Sophie, after all, had always been known for her approachable and compassionate demeanor. Perhaps she had simply acted without thinking, a rare but understandable lapse in royal formality. Others, however, weren't so sure. Some analysts believed the move was calculated, a deliberate show of alignment with Catherine at a time when rumors of palace divisions had reached a fever pitch. Had Sophie been making a statement, one that subtly but intentionally distanced herself from Queen Camilla? A few royal commentators even went as far as to suggest that this could signal a quiet shift within the monarchy itself. Could Sophie, long seen as a neutral figure, now be positioning herself more closely with Catherine? And if so, what did that mean for the internal power dynamics within the royal family? Outside the expert circles, the internet erupted. Social media became a battlefield of speculation, with users debating whether Sophie's gesture had been a moment of solidarity, an accidental slip, or something far more strategic. Theories spread like wildfire. Some royal supporters saw it as a touching moment of support, reinforcing the idea that Catherine and Sophie shared a genuine bond. Others speculated that this was a subtle sign of an internal royal divide, with Sophie siding with Catherine against Camilla. Comparisons were quickly drawn to past iconic moments of shifting royal alliances. Diana's famous cold interactions with Queen Elizabeth, Meghan Markle's subtle breaches of protocol, the way small, seemingly innocuous gestures had over time revealed deep fractures within the monarchy. But this time, the context was different. This was not about palace politics or royal feuds. This was about something deeper. Catherine's cancer battle had been fought away from the public eye, but its impact had been felt by those closest to her. And in that moment, Sophie, perhaps the only senior royal who could do so without controversy.
I just hope I look after it.
She loses,
But
she's in big trouble.
it's very, very special.
Had acknowledged it in the simplest, most humane way possible. As expected, Buckingham Palace remained silent. No statements were issued, no clarifications were made. The royals, true to tradition, chose to let the speculation fester rather than address it. But in their silence, they left room for endless interpretation.
Are you excited about the new arrival to the royal family?
As far as I'm aware, nobody's arrived yet.
By refusing to acknowledge the moment, the palace inadvertently allowed the narrative to grow. What should have been a brief, forgettable gesture had now transformed into a topic of intrigue. One thing was clear: the monarchy might have just shifted ever so slightly, and the world was watching. Let's examine the dynamic between Princess Catherine and Queen Camilla. The relationship between Catherine and Camilla. Catherine's introduction to the royal family was met with intense public scrutiny, given her long courtship with Prince William. As she transitioned from a private citizen to a future queen consort, every interaction within the royal household was observed. Among those watching closely was Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, who had already navigated a difficult public perception due to her role in Charles and Diana's tumultuous marriage. At the time, Camilla had established herself as a trusted companion to Prince Charles, gradually earning acceptance after years of controversy. She understood the pressures Catherine would face, but also recognized the stark differences in their paths. Whereas Catherine was widely embraced as a fresh and modern addition to the royal family, Camilla had fought an uphill battle to be seen as anything more than the other woman. Speculation circulated about Camilla's private views on Catherine. Some reports suggested she admired Catherine's poised entry into the monarchy, while others claimed Camilla had once advised Charles to hinder William from getting married to Sophie, hinting at possible doubts about Catherine's suitability. However, publicly, Camilla maintained a polite but reserved stance, never giving away much about her personal feelings toward her stepdaughter-in-law. Despite their different backgrounds, both women understood that their roles required careful navigation within the firm. Their early interactions were largely formal, with Catherine ensuring she respected royal protocol, and Camilla remaining neutral. Yet, royal watchers noted that their relationship lacked the warmth often seen between family members. Catherine and William's wedding in 2011 was an unforgettable occasion, watched by millions worldwide. As the couple exchanged vows, Camilla stood among the senior royals.
I wanted to ask you a few
Some
questions
questions, yeah.
about why did you decide to write about that subject?
Playing her role as Prince Charles' wife. While she was publicly supportive, the event underscored a shift in the royal family's dynamics. Catherine was now officially a part of the monarchy, and her popularity overshadowed many long-standing members, including Camilla. Unlike Camilla, who had entered the royal family through years of scandal and controversy, Catherine's arrival was met with adoration. She was seen as a modern, relatable princess who brought fresh energy to the institution. This stark contrast likely did not go unnoticed by Camilla, who had spent years rehabilitating her public image. Reports later surfaced, suggesting that Camilla had at one point questioned whether Catherine was too common for the royal family, a sentiment that echoed broader discussions about Catherine's middle-class background. Whether these claims were exaggerated or not, they highlighted the underlying tensions that could have shaped their early interactions. Despite this, Catherine remained professional, never allowing any perceived friction to play out in public. She and Camilla attended events together, sharing polite exchanges, but the warmth seen between Catherine and other royals, such as Prince Harry or Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, was noticeably absent. As the years progressed,
Levi's guy on my wall, not a picture of William, sorry.
Catherine's role within the royal family expanded. She became a key figure in representing the younger generation, with initiatives focused on early childhood development, mental health, and photography. Her increasing influence was widely recognized, and her ability to handle public scrutiny only solidified her position as the future queen consort. In contrast, Camilla's position was already firmly established. Her primary focus remained on supporting Charles and ensuring the transition to his reign would be as smooth as possible. While Catherine embraced a modern approach to royal duties, engaging directly with the public and media, Camilla largely stuck to traditional royal engagements. This difference in approach reportedly led to quiet tensions behind palace doors. While never publicly acknowledged, sources claim that there were occasional disagreements over how royal duties should be handled, with Catherine preferring a hands-on, relatable style and Camilla maintaining a more old-fashioned stance. Despite these differences, both women understood their roles and responsibilities. There was no overt rivalry, but their relationship remained professional rather than deeply personal. Queen Elizabeth's death in 2022 marked a major turning point in the monarchy, and with it came a shift in power dynamics between Camilla and Catherine. Camilla was now Queen, a title that had long been a point of contention, given the lingering sentiment surrounding Diana's legacy. Catherine, on the other hand, became the Princess of Wales, officially stepping into the title once held by Diana. The moment was significant, not just in terms of titles, but in how it positioned both women within the royal family's future. Camilla's focus remained on supporting Charles, while Catherine was now seen as the next-generation leader of the monarchy. This led to speculation about potential rivalry. As Catherine's increasing popularity continued to overshadow Charles and Camilla's reign. One moment that showed their changing dynamic was the 2023 coronation. Catherine's deep curtsy to Camilla in Westminster Abbey was seen as a formal acknowledgement of rank. While it was protocol, some royal watchers saw it as a moment that reinforced Catherine's respect for the institution, but also hinted at an unspoken power play. One day, the roles would be reversed, and it would be Camilla acknowledging Catherine as queen. Camilla's decision to elevate her own family within the royal circle, such as having her grandchildren involved in the coronation, was perceived by some as an attempt to strengthen her influence, which might not have sat well with Catherine and William, who remained protective of their children's roles. With Queen Elizabeth gone, Catherine and Camilla were now two of the most prominent women in the royal family, but their paths remained distinct. By 2025, Catherine and Camilla's relationship has settled into a functional but distant dynamic. They appear together at major royal events, presenting a united front when necessary. But body language analysts have pointed out that their interactions often lack the warmth seen in other royal relationships. One moment that fueled speculation about a possible divide was the Remembrance Sunday event, where Catherine was seen leaning on Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, rather than Camilla. Sophie's increasing closeness to Catherine has led some to believe that she serves as a more natural ally than Camilla ever did. However, some reports have suggested that Camilla is wary of Catherine's growing influence. While there is no outright tension, it is clear that Catherine's position as the future queen has made her an undeniable force within the monarchy. Camilla, having spent years solidifying her own role, may see Catherine's rise as a reminder that the monarchy is shifting toward the next generation. Whether this perceived divide is real or simply a matter of differing personalities, one thing is clear: Catherine and Camilla are two women on separate but parallel paths. Their relationship is not defined by antagonism, but neither is it particularly close. They are bound by duty, by their roles in the monarchy, and by the legacy of those who came before them. As the future unfolds, the balance of power will continue to shift. But for now, Catherine and Camilla remain figures of stability, each playing their part in the royal machine. Let's delve into the role of the Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie. Duchess Sophie, the quiet royal. Sophie Rhys-Jones was born into a middle-class family on January 20th, 1965, in Oxford, England. Unlike many members of the royal family or their spouses, she did not come from aristocracy. Instead, she had a relatively normal upbringing, attending Kent College in Pembury before embarking on a career in public relations. Her background set her apart from traditional royal spouses, who often had ties to noble families or extensive royal connections before marriage. Before joining the royal fold, Sophie worked in PR, a profession that would later prove invaluable in navigating the often ruthless scrutiny of the media. She co-founded her own public relations firm and worked for various clients, including the esteemed Capital Radio. Her experience in media and branding gave her a unique advantage compared to other royal spouses who lacked such training. Sophie's professional background meant she understood the importance of maintaining a composed public image, handling scrutiny with diplomacy, and subtly influencing narratives without attracting controversy. This ability distinguished her from figures like Sarah Ferguson, whose struggles with the media led to significant royal embarrassments, or even Princess Diana, whose emotional openness often clashed with the firm's traditional approach. Her media-savvy nature allowed her to handle the pressures of royal life with an ease that others found challenging. While she did face initial missteps, such as a 2001 scandal in which she was recorded making unguarded comments about politicians and the royal family, she swiftly learned from these moments and worked diligently to build a trustworthy, discreet, and respected reputation within the monarchy. In 1999, Sophie married Prince Edward, Queen Elizabeth's youngest son, in a relatively understated royal wedding at St. George's Chapel, Windsor. Unlike the highly publicized and dramatic royal unions of previous generations, their marriage was viewed as stable, low-profile, and drama-free, a rarity in the modern royal family. While Edward was always seen as the least controversial of Queen Elizabeth's children, his decision to marry Sophie was widely viewed as one of his wisest choices. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and shared values, avoiding the turbulence that plagued Charles and Diana's marriage, or Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's highly publicized divorce. What made Sophie's marriage particularly notable was how seamlessly she transitioned into royal life. Many royal spouses struggle to adapt, but Sophie quickly embraced her new role.
The winner of the Queen Elizabeth II Award, the British Design 2024.
Gradually taking on more duties and representing the Queen with increasing responsibility. Their lack of scandal meant that the public and the media never fixated on them in the same way they did with other royal couples. This worked in their favor. Without constant media intrusion, Sophie was able to focus on building long-term relationships within the royal family and developing her role without the burden of excessive public scrutiny. Over the years, Sophie's influence within the monarchy quietly grew. While she was never the center of attention, she became one of the most trusted and hardworking members of the royal family, carving out a space for herself that went beyond being just Edward's wife. One of the most defining aspects of Sophie's royal life was her close and deeply trusted relationship with Queen Elizabeth II. Unlike other in-laws who took years to win over the Queen, or in some cases never did, Sophie quickly became one of the monarch's most favored family members. Several factors contributed to this deep trust. First, Sophie's discretion and unwavering loyalty set her apart. The Queen valued those who upheld the privacy and dignity of the monarchy, and Sophie never gave the press any damaging stories, nor did she seek to elevate her public profile at the expense of the institution. Secondly, their shared interests and similar work ethic strengthened their bond. Sophie became a frequent guest at the Queen's private gatherings, often visiting her at Balmoral and Sandringham, even when other royals were not present. The Queen saw in Sophie a royal who took duty seriously, and their close relationship was reflected in the trust placed upon her. Over the years, the Queen assigned Sophie more responsibilities, allowing her to represent the monarchy at key events. This trust culminated in Sophie becoming one of the few royals allowed to visit the Queen in her final days, solidifying her position as an indispensable figure in the family. Her bond with the Queen also had an impact on the royal hierarchy. Though she was not born into royalty, Sophie became one of the few in-laws who earned a place in the Queen's inner circle. This status would later influence her role in the monarchy after the Queen's passing. With Queen Elizabeth's passing in 2022, a significant shift occurred in the balance of power within the royal family. Queen Camilla's elevation to the throne alongside Charles altered the existing royal dynamics, forcing figures like Sophie to navigate a new landscape. While Camilla officially became the most senior royal woman, Sophie's influence did not diminish. Instead, she remained a key member of the working royal family, continuing many of her previous duties and reinforcing her public persona.
And I think having those times together in the summer allows those relationships. I mean, we're a lot more
as a respected figure within the institution. However, one notable change was Sophie's increasing alignment with Catherine, Princess of Wales. In the absence of Queen Elizabeth, Sophie and Catherine formed a closer working relationship, frequently appearing together at engagements. Their shared commitment to royal duties, coupled with their similar experience as outsiders who adapted to royal life, naturally positioned them as allies. This growing closeness was particularly significant given Camilla's increasing influence. Unlike Catherine, who is widely seen as the future of the monarchy, Camilla's past controversies mean that public sentiment remains divided. While Camilla has worked hard to win over the British public, there is still a sense that she does not command the same level of admiration as Catherine. Sophie's choice to align herself more closely with Catherine rather than Camilla has led to speculation about shifting royal alliances. Given that Catherine will eventually become queen, Her relationship with Sophie may shape the future of the royal family's power structure. Sophie and Catherine's friendship is not just based on proximity. It is rooted in a shared experience of navigating royal life as outsiders. Both women came from non-aristocratic backgrounds and had to adapt to the rigid traditions of the monarchy. Unlike Camilla, who entered royal life under a cloud of controversy, both Catherine and Sophie managed to seamlessly integrate into the firm without scandal. Additionally, Sophie's public show of support for Catherine at the Remembrance Sunday event was widely discussed.
Sophie was soon receiving so much press attention that she was given a rare privilege by the Queen.
When Catherine appeared at the solemn ceremony, Sophie's subtle yet visible support was noted by royal watchers, especially in contrast to Camilla's more neutral stance. This moment, while small, was seen as symbolic of the growing bond between the two women. In a monarchy where symbolism matters, Sophie's alignment with Catherine sent a message. It reinforced the idea that Catherine is the monarchy's future, and Sophie is firmly on her side. The broader implications of this shift suggest that while Camilla is now queen, her influence is not absolute. Sophie's continued closeness to Catherine may indicate a quiet but meaningful division in the royal family's internal power structure, one that will only become more pronounced as William and Catherine inch closer to the throne. In the monarchy, Sophie remains a respected, discreet, and influential figure, shaping royal dynamics behind the scenes. Though she may not command the same level of attention as Catherine or Camilla, her ability to navigate the complex world of royal life has ensured that she remains one of the monarchy's most valuable assets. Do you think Duchess Sophie's gentle and kind gesture toward Catherine was unexpected or unusual? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it.